Hello, this is constitutional attorney Katherine Henry, and we are touching base with you today to go over the biblical insight for our freedom fighting topic of the week. So this Tuesday, we talked about resolutions and whether they are enforceable as laws, whether they could be used to regulate we the people, and went into full detail on that. I even talked a little bit about what the Bible has to say on that topic. In fact, we talked about that resolutions are not referenced in anywhere in the Bible as being used as a way to regulate the people, or that's something that people are having to follow, like a set of procedures. But the term ordinance is actually used many times throughout the Bible as something that's meant to be a lasting thing to follow. And so where do we see that? We actually see that in Ezekiel, 2nd Chronicles, Numbers, Leviticus, Exodus, and a wide variety of places. But also, it's always talking about, sorry guys, it's always talking about using the term lasting ordinance, or an ordinance for you and all of your generations to follow. That's something that you will follow. And so with that being said, if you do look at 1 Samuel 30, verse 25, you'll see that it says, David made this a statute and ordinance for Israel from that day to this. Now, that's only one of three places the word statute is used anywhere in the Bible, and it's used, the place that it is being used in context of what we're talking about today. And so if you look at it, statute and ordinance, they're brought together in terms of being the law that will be regulating the people, something that David put into place. So, resolution, though, not mentioned at all. Okay, but the Bible also gives us some other helpful insight, and it's important because, as I pointed out in the video, I wanted to do this topic this week because Friday being April Fool's Day, it's, seems only fitting that we really put our foot down and recognize that certainly for the last 2 years, and quite frankly beyond, our government has been playing us for a fool. And the best way to stop that, to ensure that the government can no longer play us for the fool, that they can't do these April Fool's jokes on us in terms of telling us we have to follow executive orders and mandates and resolutions and all that nonsense, is to know what actually is a law and what isn't. And sometimes it's super easy to find, and sometimes there's just a lot of different ways that you got to talk about it and think about it to make sure you're covering all your bases. So when it comes to just blindly following what is being said in that resolution, whether it's a local law you have to follow or not, which it's not, I want us to look at three places in Proverbs. 10 verse 14 says that the wise store up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool invites ruin. We don't want to go to our own ruin. We don't want to lead to that. We want to be wise and store up the knowledge in this context about whether a resolution is enforceable as a law or not to regulate the people. Proverbs 10:23, though, then says that a fool finds pleasure in wicked schemes, but a person of understanding delights in wisdom. I hope that it is truly a delight to you that we are bringing this information to you this week and all the other weeks on these topics, so that you can delight in the wisdom, that you can use that understanding, and that's in contrast, stark contrast to those fools who find pleasure in their wicked schemes. But lastly, I want us to pay attention to Proverbs 14, verse 7, that says, "Stay away from a fool, for you will not find knowledge on their lips." Let's make sure we're not listening to those who say we have to follow or obey resolutions. If we're not as a member, serving as a member of that particular legislative body, or somehow being impacted at our job because we in our job are serving the public, we work for that particular branch or level of government, then we can't be impacted by that. If we're just in our capacity as a member of the general public, we need to know that regardless of what any government official or government body says, they can't use resolutions to regulate we the people. And that there is no knowledge that can come from their lips. We need to look at the truth and learn about it ourselves, and to not succumb to becoming a fool ourselves because we are following those who don't have the knowledge needed. So with that being said, I want to wish you a wonderful rest of your weekend, a great week coming up. And I want to invite you to join us to our weekly episode at noon on Tuesday on Rumble. You can also check it out on our Facebook and YouTube pages. But I ask that you join us to keep that education going, and to tune in at little chunks throughout the day, throughout the week, I should say, to get that Way to Get Involved challenge on Wednesday, to hear Friday's Freedom Fighting Tools, to get that Constitution segment recap. Of course, on Saturday, to hear from Rachel about our Restore Freedom goodie of the week, to see how you can just spread the word about the work that we're doing. But although I'm inviting you to all that, regardless of if you join us, I do wish you well, and I thank you for tuning in today, and I hope you do have a wonderful rest of your week.